group warns that more and more PPE, latex gloves, face masks end up in the sea.
A retired centenarian Belgian doctor walks a marathon to raise funds for COVID-19 research. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Wednesday, June 10, 2020. I am Harleen Delgado.
Join us in the next 45 minutes as we deliver today's top stories around the globe. I'm Angelo Castro III.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media accounts and our website, untvweb.com. I am William Theo.
First in the news, the Interagency Task Force against COVID-19 is looking for indications that Metro Manila will not have a second wave of infections if quarantine restrictions are loosened up. Our Malacanang correspondent, Rosa Licos, will explain why.
The Interagency Task Force against COVID-19 will closely look into COVID-19 cases and the critical capacity in Metro Manila and in Cebu City. The IATF notes the COVID-19 cases in these two areas continue to mount. The IATF will base its recommendations to President Rodrigo Duterte on these two factors for the fate of the community quarantine in NCR and Cebu City. Will it be downgraded to modified general community quarantine, or will general community quarantine remain after June 15? According to presidential spokesperson Harry Roque, the government will look for data that would indicate that Metro Manila will not have a second wave of infections if quarantine restrictions are loosened up.
So makikita natin na talagang Manila as the epicenter, medyo mabilis pa yung pagkalat ng sakit. No? Ang inaasahan po natin, lahat ng ibang bansa, parte ng bansa natin, either papunta na sa MGCQ o papunta na sa new normal. No?
He adds that residents of Metro Manila will really have to observe social distancing, wear face masks, and maintain good health. This same is the stand of Trade Secretary Ramon Lopez regarding industries that have been allowed to operate.
Importante po kasi sa pagbabalik ay yung pagsunod dito sa health protocol. Dahil po as long as masunod ito, sigurado pong malilimitahan yung mga transmission na ating inaalala.
President Rodrigo Duterte will meet the IATF again on Monday in Malacanang. Rosa Licos, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Land Bank of the Philippines has launched its ACADEME lending program, which is seen to contribute to the country's goal of nation building and quality education to every Filipino citizen. Enrolling in the program is pretty easy. Dante Amento will join us tonight to tell us why live. Dante, what is this ACADEME lending program?
Good evening, Harleen. Firstly, ACADEME stands for Access to Academic Development to Empower the Masses Towards Endless Opportunities. The Land Bank of the Philippines launched the ACADEME lending program with an allocated budget of 3 billion pesos. The loan comes with a 3% interest per annum payable for 3 years. The ACADEME lending program aims to help private schools to provide continuing education for their students under the Study Now, Pay Later scheme. President Rodrigo Duterte has recently disclosed that Land Bank will help parents affected by the financial crisis due to the COVID-19 pandemic by allowing them to lend money. Eligible borrowers under this program are private learning institutions that offer secondary and tertiary levels of education. Secondary schools must have a permit to operate secured from the Department of Education. Higher education institutions must be regulated by the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority or TESDA or authorized by the Commission on Higher Education to avail the benefits of this lending program.
Alam namin na mga kababayan tayo na mahihirapan para tustusan yung tuition fee ng kanilang mga anak.
Land Bank of the Philippines President and CEO Cecilia Borromeo said private education institutions are allowed to borrow up to 70% of their students' total promissory notes. Then the schools will have to arrange the implementing guidelines in offering the loan program to their students with zero interest.
Katunayan ho, meron na kaming inapprove na 250 million sa isang malaking school para makapagpautang sila under the Study Now Pay Later scheme sa kanilang mga estudyante at 0% interest po sa students.
Meanwhile, Federation of Associations of Private Schools Administrators, or FAPSA, believes it is much better to include preschool and elementary schools in the program. In fact, Harleen, according to FAPSA President Eliazardo Casilag, many schools want to avail the benefits of this ACADEME lending program, and those schools are already preparing the pertinent documents to apply. Harleen?
So Dante, what does Land Bank say about how schools can apply in this program?
Yes, Harleen, those who want to avail the program may visit the nearest Land Bank Lending Center in their area or email Land Bank at yvonneviala@gmail.com for inquiries. The program is open until June 30, 2021. They may also visit Land Bank's website to know more about how they can benefit from this lending program. Harleen?
All right, thank you, Dante Amento, for that report.
Like in countries including the United States, thousands of Filipino workers have gone jobless in the middle of the COVID-19 crisis. It's the right of a displaced employee to get their separation pay when they are removed from the job without a legal basis, according to the Labor Department. Now, an employers group is asking, how can they pay their displaced employees in the middle of this crisis? One of our senior correspondents, Ray Pelayo, reports why.
Almost 70,000 employees from more than 2,000 establishments have gone jobless amid the COVID-19 crisis. That's according to the Department of Labor and Employment's record as of June 8, 2020. 193 of these establishments are now permanently closed, while more than 1,800 others have reduced their workforce. Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III said they are waiting for the filing of formal closure notice to follow the process. The official notes it is the obligation of employers to give the separation or retrenchment pay for every affected employee.
Statutory right yan ng employee. Pag tinanggal mo siya, kung walang legal basis, nasara ka lang, then you have to pay for the separation pay.
The Employers Confederation of the Philippines, or ECOP, is now asking how can these establishments give their employees separation pay when they too are severely affected by the implementation of the community quarantine measures amid the coronavirus pandemic.
Nung araw, mahirap magsara ng kumpanya, dami mapera. Ngayon legitimate reason sa kanila yung nag-lockdown na nalugi sila. Hindi mo mapipilit pagbayad ng separation pay dahil wala babayad.
DOLE has also recorded around 1.9 million workers affected by temporary closure of companies, while more than 960,000 are back in their jobs under flexible work arrangements. The Labor Department is planning to subsidize 25 to 50% of the payroll costs of employers with the condition that they would not resort to retrenchment. Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The medium security compound of the New Bilibid prison is celebrating amid the coronavirus pandemic. According to the spokesperson of the Bureau of Corrections, this serves as an inspiration for their health workers. Here's why from Sherwin Kulubong.
Applause greeted 13 persons deprived of liberty, or PDL, at the New Bilibid prison in Muntinlupa City after recovering from coronavirus disease 2019. The PDL recoveries are now back in their prison cells after getting treatment at the quarantine facility inside the medium security compound of the National Penitentiary. Gabriel Chaklag, officer in charge of the Bureau of Corrections Public Information Office, confirmed that the recoveries have already tested negative in the swab testing 3 times before being released from the quarantine facility.
Mula naman dito sa mga nag-positive, ay marami din tayong naka-recover. So yun po ang tinitingnan natin na nakakataba ng puso. Kasi hindi naman sila lahat nag-expire, sila po ay nakaka-recover din. So mas marami po yung recovery natin.
According to Chaklag, this good news serves as an inspiration for the health workers to continue caring for inmates infected with the new coronavirus. Meanwhile, the number of Bureau of Corrections personnel who have tested positive for the disease has increased. Chaklag said they immediately took those personnel infected with the deadly virus to the COVID-19 quarantine facilities World Trade Center in Pasay City and New Clark City in Tarlac Province. As of today, no other penal colonies under Bucor have recorded COVID-19 positive cases apart from the NBP and the Correctional Institution for Women. Sherwin Kulubong, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
And although there are some citizens who violate quarantine restrictions and still go outdoors even without necessary activities, many still prefer to stay at home due to fear of contracting COVID-19. But some of those who fear to even go to the hospital are pregnant women. The health department even says that fewer pregnant women have been consulting their doctors for their pregnancy checkup. Aiko Miguel explains why.
The Department of Health has been receiving reports that ever since the COVID-19 crisis began in the country, fewer pregnant women have been visiting hospitals for their checkup or to give birth.
Na maaari ring brought about by the fear in going to hospitals for our pregnant women.
The Health Department advises expectant mothers to never forget or neglect to consult their doctors or call the Health Department's telemedicine hotline. This is to assure that mothers and children's health will not be at risk during this pandemic. This is also a way of preventing infant or maternal mortality cases. The DOH does not recommend that mothers give birth through unlicensed midwives.
Panganganak sa bahay, ito ay hindi siya safe. Atin itong dinidiscourage kasi unang-una yung sterility ng lugar, yung mga ginagawa ng mga kumadrona natin minsan na hindi sila lisensyado. Pagkatapos pag nagkaroon ng komplikasyon, bago nila madala doon sa referral facility natin, too late, at saka ito ang nagko-comprise mostly ng maternal mortalities natin in the past, malaking porsyento, yung mga nanganganak sa bahay.
According to the DOH, during this crisis, there has also been a spike in unintended pregnancies.
Pero meron kasing mga studies na ginawa ngayon, all over the world naman, may mga gawa silang mga surveys and estimations that they are really saying because of the disruption of family planning services, meron tayong ini-estimate na up to 7 million unintended pregnancy for this if this lockdown continues in the next 6 months.
Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Let's now take a closer look at the updated count of coronavirus cases around the world. The COVID-19 pandemic has now reached a total of over 7.25 million confirmed cases in 188 countries, regions, and sovereignty. The fast-spreading disease has claimed more than 411,000 lives, while over 3.3 million patients across the globe have recovered from the new coronavirus infection. The United States of America, as of today, remains to have the most recorded cases, now at almost 2 million, and still with the highest death toll of more than 112,000, while healthcare workers in the U.S. have helped over 524,000 patients recover from the infection. Brazil, on the other hand, is a country in Latin America most affected by the virus and where the number of infections and deaths are growing the fastest. On the other hand, the United Kingdom has already surpassed the death tolls in Brazil and Italy with its 40,968 death cases. Meanwhile, in Spain, face masks and social distancing will remain until coronavirus is defeated, according to the Spanish government. Germany noticeably reports the highest rate of recoveries at more than 91% of its total cases.
Meanwhile, the country's Department of Health says that 740 new cases were reported today, raising the total confirmed cases of coronavirus infection in the Philippines to 23,732. That is, as of 4 p.m. today. We have lost 10 more patients. But through our fervent prayers, medical interventions, and sacrifices of our medical frontliners, 159 more people have won their battle against the invisible enemy. That brings the total recoveries nationwide to 4,895. Thanks be to God.
A Solon files a House bill seeking to penalize food delivery pranks. Joanna tells us why.
As online delivery becomes in demand under the new normal due to the coronavirus pandemic, a lot of food delivery riders have been encountering pranks or mischievous tricks. Just like the experiences of John Padua and Nico Miranda, who are both Grab food riders.
Nung una sumasagot siya, nakikipag-usap pa sa amin. Pagdating ko dun sa location na na bahay, yung address, mismong address. Nung kinakato ko na yung bahay, wala daw ganun tao dun. Nung tinatawagan ko na yung number uli na hindi na siya lumabas, wala na.
Kadalasan naman sir, pagka napipake mo kami, 300, 400, inuwi na lang din namin yan sir. Pagka mga 500 pataas sir, mabigat na kasi yan sir. Puhunan lang namin, 2,000, 1,500. Napipake mo ka pa ng 500, ang laking kabawasan.
In a bid to address this problem, ACO Bicol Party List Representative Alfredo Garbin Jr. has filed a proposed Food and Grocery Delivery Services Protection Act, House Bill number 69586, to protect delivery riders and their corresponding service providers from invalid order cancellations and from people who have no intent of paying up. Under the bill, orders that are already paid for in the possession of the delivery rider or already in transit can no longer be cancelled. Pranksters who have no intention of paying the products and services, as well as those who will humiliate the riders, will be penalized. Customers that will not pay might be imprisoned for 6 to 12 years or face a fine of 100,000 pesos, while those who will demean delivery riders may be jailed for 6 months to 6 years if the proposed legislation becomes a law. In today's episode of Get It Straight with Daniel Razon, Representative Garbin also added that under this bill, they have placed some safeguards such as video call and proof of billing address in order for the riders to confirm the customer's identity.
Gusto natin ilagay na safeguard sa panukalang batas na kung saan bago mag-accept ng orders, dapat merong authentication ng identity. And as much as possible, merong proof of billing na nakuha yung service providers like Grab, Lalamove, and Panda. So that talagang genuine o totoo or legitimate yung mga orders. Ang sabi ko is should endeavor at least to have a video call para naman bago ma-confirm yung orders, may screenshot nila yung mukha.
The lawmaker is also considering to include a provision of requiring service providers to set a cash scheme in place to prevent riders from suffering the burden of prank transactions. Joanna, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Department of Public Works and Highways, or DPWH, expects lighter traffic on Monday. Let's find out why from Asher Kadapan Jr.
About 30,000 vehicles, especially cargo trucks traveling to and from Manila ports, are expected to use NLEX Harbor Link Segment 10. This as its section between Caloocan Interchange on C3 Road and Radial Road 10 or R10 in Navotas City opens on Monday, June 15. The Department of Public Works and Highways, or DPWH, explains this road will allow faster travel time between North Luzon Expressway and the city of Manila, particularly R10, where major ports are located.
Ngayon po dahil dito, mas madali yung access yung papuntang NLEX. So ang expectation namin, dadami po lahat mo ng mga truck, karamihan po ng mga trucks dito na dadaan dahil napakabilis. From Manila to Quezon City, 10 to 15 minutes na lang. Or from Manila to NLEX, less than 10 minutes.
NLEX Harbor Link Segment 10 is an 8.18-kilometer long, 6-lane elevated expressway extending from MacArthur Highway in Valenzuela City to R10. The section of the segment was supposed to open in March but was deferred due to the pandemic.
Well, alam naman natin na medyo nag-stop yung construction projects nung nagsimula po ang quarantine. Pero nakakuha din kami ng exemption nung ECQ pa tayo. Kaya nakahabol din ang ating mga concessionaires pati yung mga major ibang construction projects.
There will be no add-on fees for using the NLEX Harbor Link C3 R10 section for the first month of its operation. Asher Kadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Speaking of roads, William Jego, we are here in Elliptical Road here in Quezon City on board the UNTV radio mobile booth. Let's look at the situation on the road. Jego William, here in our lane, going to Visayas Avenue up to East Avenue here in Quezon City, we are experiencing light to at times moderate flow of traffic, mainly from vehicles coming from Commonwealth Avenue. There is also light to moderate flow of traffic from vehicles coming from EDSA Quezon Avenue going to Commonwealth Avenue. So far, William and Jego, we have an unimpeded flow of traffic here along Elliptical Road in Quezon City. Meanwhile, the Social Security System, or SSS, has assured its members who involuntarily lost their jobs can apply for its unemployment benefit. According to the agency, all employees, including house helpers and overseas Filipino workers or OFWs, can avail of the cash benefit. However, those who are registered as self-employed and voluntary members cannot avail of the unemployment benefit. SSS Vice President for Public Affairs and Special Events Fernando Nicolas, applicants will have to submit a copy of the Certification of Involuntary Separation from the Department of Labor and Employment. All you have to submit is one valid ID and the copy of the Notice of Termination of Employment from the employer. If not available, a duly notarized affidavit of termination of employment. For employees who are in the Philippines, this can be obtained in DOLE regional or field offices where the employer is based, and for OFWs in Philippine overseas labor offices or polos where their employer is operating, or in DOLE field or provincial offices where the OFW is now residing.
Depende po iyan sa laki ng hulog nila. So nakabase iyan doon sa monthly salary credit na hinuhulugan nila. Kung naghuhulog kayo ng 20,000 monthly salary credit, iyan po ang katumbas na matatanggap nyo.
According to the earlier guidelines of SSS, applicants should not be over 60 years old when involuntarily separated from the job, should have paid at least 36 monthly contributions, and did not receive unemployment benefit for the last 3 years before the month of involuntary separation. The SSS says it would only take 5 days from them to process and send the financial benefit to the savings account of the member applicant. The agency is expecting a surge in the number of applicants in the coming days as an effect of the COVID-19 pandemic. The SSS says it will soon announce the start of its online applications for the unemployment benefit. The National Center for Mental Health reports a spike in number of calls about mental health consultations they have received since the community quarantine in the country was imposed. Monhok Son details why.
The country's National Center for Mental Health, or NCMH, dedicated to delivering preventive, curative, and rehabilitative mental health care service, received about 400 calls on mental health consultations in 2019. But since the start of the implementation of the quarantine last March, the number spiked to more than 900. Not to mention suicide-related calls that reach more than 40 calls a month. According to Dr. Bernard Argamosa, a psychiatrist in the NCMH, many calls are related to anxiety and depression. For Dr. Argamosa, aside from financial aid and other assistance, the government must also focus on the mental health of the citizens. This must also be included in the government's COVID-19 recovery plan, he said. The NCMH explains anxiety and depression are inevitable nowadays, especially that movement of people is restricted due to measures imposed to combat COVID-19 transmission. Many have lost their jobs, others are afraid because of the disease, everyone is struggling to survive their everyday life. All of these are aspects that affect the mental health of an individual.
Karamihan po na nakaka-experience ng anxiety, feelings of depression, stress, mood concerns, interpersonal concerns, and dun po nangangailangan ng referral services.
The NCMH offers free counseling to the public through its hotline 0917-899-8727 and landline number 1553. Experts say that people can avoid depression and anxiety by doing physical exercise, be it intense or not. This can help develop a good mood. Going on a healthy diet or eating healthily can also help. Our mind can work effectively if it is supplied with nutrients from foods that we eat. Get enough sleep. Avoid staying up late. Your body will thank you if you sleep 7 to 8 hours a day. Avoid drinking alcoholic drinks. Many depression and anxiety cases are linked to alcohol disorder. And most importantly, having a strong faith in God can make a significant change in our lives.
At dagdagan mo ang tiwala at panalangin sa Diyos kasi ang anxiety, it's a kind of mental disorder. Parang it's a feeling of insecurity, parang wala kang maaaring makatulong sa'yo, parang you are alone, ganun yan yung nangyayari sa may mga anxiety. Pero kung meron kang pagtitiwala sa Diyos, na siya ang bahala sa'yo, na mamatay ka man yun ang the best. Kasi alam naman ng Diyos kung kailan kanya kukunin, kung kailan niya hindi pa kakukunin kung may tiwala ka sa Diyos, sabi ni Pedro, ilagak mo sa Diyos ang lahat ng iyong kabalisahan sapagkat kayo'y ipinagmamalasakit niya. Yun ang nasa Biblia.
Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
More recoveries than new confirmed cases and fatalities among Filipinos abroad. That's the report today by our Department of Foreign Affairs Foreign Service Post. This brings the total recoveries to 2,340. With 29 new confirmed cases in the Asia-Pacific region and the Middle East, the overall number of COVID-19 cases involving our kababayans abroad is now at 5,430, with 2 new deaths recorded in the Middle East. 181 Filipinos coming from Indonesia will soon be reunited with their loved ones. The repatriated Filipinos arrived in Manila on board a chartered flight from Jakarta today. This is in addition to the tens of thousands of OFWs, overseas Filipinos, and seafarers who prefer to come back to the Philippines from COVID-19 hit countries. President Rodrigo Duterte has appointed a new DOH Undersecretary just recently. The UNTV News and Rescue team was able to chit-chat with the new health official, who is known to both the President and the Health Chief. The Undersecretary for COVID-19 response vows to perform his duties well, although at this time, which work he will focus on is still unknown to him. Aiko Miguel reports why.
It was in 1989 when Undersecretary Leopoldo Vega started as a consultant in the field of general surgery in Davao City. In 2009, he was appointed by Secretary Duque as the hospital chief of Southern Philippines Medical Center, known before as Davao Medical Center. Undersecretary Vega was also the first director of Davao Medical School Foundation. In an interview with UNTV this morning, Undersecretary Vega said that he and President Duterte have known each other for a long time. President Duterte was still a mayor when he became a practicing doctor in Davao City.
I cannot presume. No? I can't be presumptive on why he chose me, but I've known the president, from my perspective, I've known the president since he was mayor, and I was a practicing doctor here in Davao City, and I have never left Davao City ever since I started practice. Personally, coming from my end, he knows me in this community.
Undersecretary Vega received a call last June 4 from the Office of the President informing him that he would be assigned as an Undersecretary of the country's Department of Health. Undersecretary Vega said, however, that President Duterte has not yet talked to him personally about the details of his job. The new health official admits being a DOH Undersecretary is a great challenge that comes with great responsibility as a medical professional. He is ready to perform his job to meet the President's expectations.
Really honored and very humbled with the promotion that the President gave me for his trust and confidence. I really would like to make it a point that I can meet the President's expectation. And what are these expectations? That this concerns really in terms of delivery of services and benefits to especially with the frontliners and the different people who were afflicted with COVID-19. And this expectation should also mean that there has to be a proper coordination with the Department of Health and the different interagencies.
Next week, Undersecretary Vega will travel to Manila and will first talk with Secretary Duque and ask what office will he be focusing on inside the DOH. Though he doesn't have an appointment paper yet, he plans to help expand the country's testing capacity and give more and appropriate assistance to healthcare workers. Undersecretary Vega also said he is willing to help and support Secretary Duque, whom he has known for a long time as well.
I've known him, I've worked on him, and I'm very much willing to work with any secretaries because I'm a worker. I'll just do my job and do things right. I do a lot. I've been with the department since 10, 11 years ago, and I have a lot of colleagues in there. I mean, people know me, and I know them. So a lot of I've been doing business with the central office as well as the different hospitals under the department. So I'm not really a newbie to them.
Undersecretary Vega also said he will serve as one of the government's supporters in providing services to Filipinos, especially during this health crisis. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The former chief of Albuera Leyte Police described self-confessed drug lord Kerwin Espinosa, who is presently behind bars, as more powerful than before. In this UNTV exclusive, Leah Ilagan reports why.
Drug war poster boy Police Lieutenant Colonel Jovi Espinido confirms to UNTV that self-confessed drug lord Kerwin Espinosa continues to be involved in illegal drugs trade. In fact, Lieutenant Colonel Espinido says that Ryan Labandaria, who was killed during a drug buy-bust operation by the PNP Drug Enforcement Group and the National Capital Region Police Office in Lower Bicutan, Taguig last May 23, was one of Kerwin Espinosa's staff. In the said operation, authorities confiscated 12 kilograms of shabu worth 81.6 million pesos. Espinido also says that the sisters Angelica Tulio and Marialyn Tulio, who were arrested in a drug warehouse in Marilao, Bulacan, together with Chinese national Yuan Kai, are also part of Kerwin's staff. PNP DEG confiscated more than 827 kilos of shabu worth 5.6 billion pesos during the operation in Marilao. Espinido also adds that Danny Apiga, who was killed in the buy-bust operation in Macapagal Boulevard, was one of Kerwin's couriers. Jin Long Kai, who also killed in the said operation, was the son of Yuan Kai, who was arrested in Marilao drug warehouse.
Matawan natin kayo yung Ryan, daling yun sa Albuera. Career yan, career. Mga kinuha yan.
Director of the PNP Drug Enforcement Group, Police Brigadier General Romeo Karamat Jr. confirms they had received the same information but they are still in the process of verifying the information.
Mayroon kaming unvalidated info but bini-verify pa namin to be sure.
Lieutenant Colonel Espinido adds Kerwin is more powerful now than before because he still manages to operate despite being behind bars.
Powerful na eh. Mas grabe ka powerful siya kung i-compare mo na una sa ngayon. Mas powerful siya ngayon kasi yun nga, nakadipila, nakasarok pa.
Lieutenant Colonel Espinido also mentioned the areas of Kerwin's team drug operation.
Actually, Pampanga, Bulacan, Cavite, Pasay at saka Taguig yung area nila. Actually, ang mga tao dito sa Albuera, lahat dinala ni Kerwin doon sa Luzon.
Lieutenant Colonel Espinido was the chief of Albuera Police when they raided the house of Kerwin and his father Rolando Espinosa Sr. in 2016 in Albuera, Leyte. They confiscated 88 million pesos worth of shabu and materials used in the manufacture of explosives. Rolando Espinosa Sr. was the mayor of Albuera, Leyte in 2016. Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
And for the news abroad, here's Kath Dumaraos live from Bangkok, Thailand. Good evening, Kath.
Yes, well, tonight, William, I will tell you, just like in the Philippines, that the Thai government had planned to have lessons via television, which they call distance learning television or DLTV. But it seems that it would not happen here in Thailand.
Okay, thank you, Kath. Please tell us why.
Yeah, so the Thai government had planned to air lessons via television, but the country's education ministry has found that 60 to 70% of students are not ready to use television as the main channel for their studies. Therefore, measures following a recommendation by the Ministry of Public Health will be taken, including a limit of only 20 to 25 students per classroom from what used to be 30 to 40. Bangkok Deputy Governor Sopwon Pisutiwong has mentioned that students, as well as their desks, would be required to keep a distance of 1 to 2 meters apart. Students will be allowed to play, but only in small groups. They must wash their hands every hour or more often. They will not be permitted to eat together. And a student found to be sick should go home right away.
In the middle of the coronavirus pandemic, more and more protective equipment is ending up in the sea, a French cleanup group warned on Tuesday. Volunteer divers who are part of the association Operation Mer Propre say they have seen discarded face masks and latex gloves floating underwater during their operations around the French coast for a month.
It's completely new. We didn't have this before. It was exceptional to find a glove, and I had never seen a mask before. It's a new type of pollution.
Since France emerged from a strict 8-week lockdown last month, people are using personal protective equipment in public, and some are throwing used masks and gloves on the street. When it rains, it gets washed into the sea. Although for the moment, PPE constitutes not even 1% of the total 3 tons of trash collected underwater by the group since its foundation last year, Lombard said he is wary that the problem could worsen as the pandemic drags on. Aware of the situation, government leaders like Paris Mayor Anne Hidalgo have called on the public to dispose of their used PPE properly. France's Environment Ministry in late May increased fines for these infractions from 68 to 135 euros, rising to 750 euros depending on the severity of the offense. Lombard said that the new rule should be strictly enforced.
The message is really to throw your masks in trash bins. It's good for the environment. Don't throw it on the ground. Otherwise, it ends up in the sea. And it's also a matter of protecting others, to not infect others. If others get infected, we'll end up getting infected too. It's a matter of common sense.
Mirasol Abugadil, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
And those are the reasons behind the news here in Thailand and in other parts of the globe. Back to you, William.
Yes, thank you very much, Kath Dumaraos, live from Thailand. You stay safe there in Bangkok.
President Rodrigo Duterte signed Republic Act 11470 into law that will establish the National Academy of Sports in U. Clark City, Capas, Tarlac. The National Academy of Sports is mandated to implement quality and enhanced secondary education program integrated with a special curriculum on sports. This is one of the priority legislative measures the President mentioned in last year's State of the Nation address.
Older than Prince Philip, a 103-year-old Belgian doctor is walking a marathon around his garden in a daily stages. Nina Arbilio tells the story why.
To raise money for research into the new coronavirus, retired general practitioner Alphonse Limpols takes his daily strides around his garden. Inspired by a fellow centenarian who became a hero in Britain, World War II veteran Tom Moore, for clocking up the charity miles with a walking frame, Limpols is up for a new mission. The retired doctor was born on January 1st, 1917, and he began his 42.2-kilometer journey in the municipality of Rotselaar, northeast of Brussels, on June 1 and plans to complete it on June 30. Every day, he walks 10 laps of 145 meters, 3 in the morning, 3 at noon, and 4 in the evening. To avoid losing count, he throws a stick into a bowl every time he completes a lap.
As a doctor, you feel touched by this, and that's why I was happy now that I might be able to contribute something to fight the coronavirus.
Alphonse said that his children pushed him to accomplish this milestone despite his age. Limpols hopes to raise funds for the hospital attached to the nearby University of Leuven, where researchers are working to find a cure for COVID-19. So far, he has raised just over 6,000 euros, according to Marley van der Bruggen of Leuven University, and has covered about 1/3 of the distance of the marathon. Nina Armilio, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
And those are the reasons behind the news, June 10, 2020. I am Harleen Delgado. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I'm Angelo Castro III.
And I am William Theo. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Have a great evening.